Now, I operate by this principle. Everything is on the chopping block. That means I am a slave to nothing. No food, no activity, no drink, no habit, no person. If it is not serving my forward movement, it can be cut. And this is not about being extreme now. This is about being free. Because the thing you think you cannot live without is often the thing that is quietly running your life. Now, what in your life right now do you think you cannot cut? Not the thing you choose not to cut. The thing you believe you cannot.
Be limitless. Limitless. Started up, we finished. Limitless. Never running out of energy. Limitless. Keep it going till we finish. Keep it going till we finish. Keep it going, I am limitless.
Yeah, man. Welcome to another episode of the Be Limitless Today Podcast. I am your host, Jarvis Cobb, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you spending a little time with your boy. So, something I was thinking about this week. It is 1 a.m. I am up late working on a brand or watching a show or maybe running through an old video game. And then the thought hits. Man, something sweet would really be on point right now. And here's what happens next. My mind starts moving through the house, cabinet by cabinet. I go through the kitchen first. We got sweet Lorraine cookies in the fridge. You know, it's top 9 free allergy, so no eggs. So you can eat those raw. It only has 100 calories each. It's chocolate chip granola bites in the cabinet. I know I got some milk chocolate chips up there in the bag somewhere. And then I moved to the fridge in the garage. Is there lemonade out there? Yeah, it's lemonade, but that has 44 grams of sugar in 1 cup. So that's out. Then my mind shifts. Okay, what about something lower in sugar? Do we have graham crackers? Do we have cinnamon crunch cereal? Wait, we might have poppies. You know, the poppies are only 5 grams of sugar. 5 grams, that barely counts, right? Like my mind starts doing this whole dance, this negotiation, trying to make it seem like getting a little sugar is not the same as getting the sugar. That dance is what I want to talk to you about today. Because that same negotiation that happens at 1 a.m. over a cookie happens in every area of your life. And what you do in that moment, it is not a small thing. That is proof. Today, we are talking about physical action as proof. So what is the craving in your life right now that has you standing in front of a cabinet at 1 a.m. looking for that version that cost you a little less? The moment I realized my thoughts were doing this negotiation dance, I made a decision. No sugar for a week. And that's not because sugar is evil, not because I was starting some diet, but because I noticed something. I was going to bed thinking about sweets. I was waking up thinking about sweets. My mind was running calculations at midnight, 1, 2 a.m. And when something has that much space in your mind, that's a flag. So, starting those sweets for a week. The first couple of days were rough. The cravings did not go anywhere. But here's what I found out. Every time I said no, I wasn't just declining the cookie. I was proving something to myself. I was proving that my thoughts are not my boss. They are suggestions. I can hear a suggestion and say no. Now, that sounds simple, but when you are standing in your kitchen at 1 a.m. and your mind has already mapped out 3 routes to sugar, saying no feels like a physical act. But by the end of the week, something has shifted. And it's not because I lost weight. It's not because I had some health breakthrough, but because I proved to myself that I am not controlled by my urges. If I decide to do something, I can do it. If something comes against me, I am strong enough to say no. And that truth does not stay in the kitchen. That truth goes everywhere with you. Now, where in your life has your mind been doing this negotiation dance, looking for the version of the thing that cost you just a little less so you can still say yes? Now, I operate by this principle. Everything is on the chopping block. That means I am a slave to nothing. No food, no activity, no drink, no habit, no person. If it is not serving my forward movement, it can be cut. And this is not about being extreme. Now, this is about being free. Because the thing you think you cannot live without is often the thing that is quietly running your life. Now, what in your life right now do you think you cannot cut? Not the thing you choose not to cut. The thing you believe you cannot. This is where the real conversation starts. Now, your body does not lie. Every choice you make with your physical life is an argument you are making about who you are. Not who you want to be someday, who you are right now. And that argument gets made whether you are paying attention or not. The cookie at 1 a.m. is not a moral failing. It's the pattern behind it, the negotiation, the compromise dance. That tells a story. And your body is the page it is written on. Now, my second principle is this. Start and then tell me what you think. Don't talk to me about how hard something might be before you do it. Do not negotiate with your own future. Just get up and start. And then come back and tell me what you found. The negotiation always happens before the first step. Now, once you start, your mind recalibrates, but you have to be willing to start. Now, your body is not just a vehicle. It's the place where your identity lives. And what you choose to do with that is a statement. Now, when you say no to the thing at 1 a.m., when you get up and move when you don't feel like it, when you start before you feel ready, you're not just taking an action. You are casting a vote for the version of yourself you are trying to become. Let me ask you a question. Where have you been negotiating with your future self instead of just starting? And what would it look like to start first and then form your opinion? You are not someone with no willpower. You are someone who has not yet proved to yourself that you have it. That is a different problem, and that has a different solution. Now, what would it change about how you see yourself if you said no to one thing this week that you've been saying yes to out of habit? The solution is not to want it less. The solution is to say no and find out what happens next. Because here's what I found out in that week without sugar. My thoughts are not commands. They are suggestions. And I get to decide whether I follow them or not. You know, strength is not something you're born with. It's something you build because you showed up, because you did the work, and the strength was the result. It wasn't a requirement. You are not behind. You are in the process. But the process requires you to stop negotiating and start proving. And you prove it to yourself first. Nobody else needs to see it yet. You need to see it. Now, you are not the person who keeps rearranging the cabinet looking for the compromise. You are the person who closes the cabinet and goes to bed and knows what that cost. And you're stronger for it. If the next version of you looked at your physical choices this past week, what would they see? And what would they want you to change? Now, before this week is out, put one thing on the chopping block. One craving, one habit, one compromise you've been making because it feels easier than saying no. Say no to it for a week. Not forever, 7 days. And watch what you find out about yourself. I mean, no discipline feels good in the moment, but it always produces something. Start, then tell me what you think. That is your move. And that's the coaching for today. I'm going to leave it right there, man. Let's get into root work. So if you are new here, welcome. All right. Root work is a segment we do every episode. Root work means taking accountability and ownership of your life, starting with creating change within yourself. Now, during a season that forced a lot of us to slow down, I started writing down on sticky notes things I was learning about myself, things I needed to own, truths I had been avoiding. Every sermon, every video, every motivational talk, everything I listened to, if there was a line in it that meant something to me, I wrote it down on a sticky note. And with the root word segment, I go through, pick two at random, and then I speak to it with our title of the week in mind. So our title of the week is Physical Action as Proof. I'll pick two and see if we can tie in to that. So let's go. Root work number one. You didn't lose it. God moved it. You didn't lose it. God moved it. I'm not sure where I was in my life when I wrote this one, but what it spoke to me is the idea that I lost the opportunity, or I'm too late, or, it's not going to happen. It's always big dreams and big goals that we might have. And we feel like if we didn't hit it when it first came up, then it's never going to come back. If we didn't take advantage of it when it was first presented to us, then we'll never get that opportunity again. This quote was telling me that I didn't lose the opportunity. God moved the opportunity, most likely because I wasn't ready to receive it, to properly shepherd it, and to properly grow it. I just wasn't ready. So he gave me a glimpse of what could be. He gave me a glimpse of the opportunities that are falling in my hand and falling in front of me. And if we tie it to physical action as proof, it's seeing an opportunity that came to you that you might not have been ready for. For instance, a promotion. Like, you wanted a promotion, you saw the promotion, you felt like it was time for the promotion, but maybe you just wasn't ready for it. And if you would have gotten that promotion, you may have lost it within the year or 2 years. So now by you seeing that, you can take the opportunity to start doing things towards that promotion. Taking the opportunity to start doing a little extra, to start thinking outside of just yourself. In my example, I was going for a promotion. I didn't get it. And it was about 2 years of me not getting it. So then my mind shifted from me doing all of these things that I think should get me the promotion to, okay, what does the team need? Okay, what's the need of the company? What's something I can do to fill a gap that's happening? And as soon as I started doing that, my name started popping up in several opportunities. Jarvis should be able to do this. Yeah, we like Jarvis for that. And now I'm in a position to where, okay, which one do you want to fully go into? But I had to get off of thinking about myself. And the physical proof was I would set a meeting for the whole team so we can all get together and, enjoy each other for a half an hour. That's not necessarily about work, but it's building team chemistry. It's building that collaboration. It's strategically doing things that makes us think together and work together, but doesn't necessarily have to deal with what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. Physical action as proof is getting out of what you normally would do, getting out of what you think is best for you, and start doing actions towards the promotion, even when you don't have the promotion, even when you didn't get the title yet, or you didn't start the diet yet, or you don't have the dynamic of the family you want yet, but you're starting to do actions that leads you towards that. If you know that when you have a child, you're going to want the room to look a certain way, you're going to want the food in the fridge to be organized a certain way, start organizing it before the kid gets here. In my example, I knew we wanted to have a family and we wanted to grow. So I started looking for the bigger house before we even had the baby. I started thinking about how can I build for our future before my son was even here. That physical action of getting started before I felt ready, before the time was here. Now when the time came, now we can make the jump and get the house. We can make the decisions we want to make because we've been building our finances a certain way. So now we can travel more. Now it's not a decision on can we, it's if we want to, we can go do it. So that's where I'm gonna tie into that, man. Is whatever thoughts you have, whatever visions you have, start doing the actions towards that before you get your opportunity in it. Start building those habits before you actually get the title or get the relationship or get the family or get the house. Start now. It's going to bode well for you in the end. All right, root work number 2. Some people stop serving because nobody saw it. You didn't do the work for them. It was for God. Some people stop serving because nobody saw it. You didn't do the work for them. It was for God. So I fell in this a little bit with my brand as far as posting. There was a period to where I was concerned about the likes and the views and feeling like I wasn't getting enough traction on certain things and certain videos. So I got a little discouraged. I'm like, well, if I'm doing these clips, I'm doing these short videos and people aren't really even liking it or commenting on it. Is it even doing anything? Is it making a difference? And instead of continuing to operate in the gifts that God gave me, I was so focused on the responses of people. I was so focused on if they received it, if it was good for them. When my mind should have been on, am I being a good steward to what I've been given? Am I doing the right things with the opportunities and the gifts that I have? See, if you're so focused on what everybody else thinks, and the only way you are going to do the thing you're good at is if people are giving you praise, then you're going to also focus on when people give you negative feedback and make that as a determination on if you should continue or not. That's the hard part, is you can't get too high on the praise and you can't go too low on the criticism. You have to make a decision why you're doing a certain thing. And I had to come to terms with my brand and with content creation. God gave me something, so I'm going to put it out there. And if I'm putting it out there, then I am showing respect to what he's given me. And that should be pleasing in the eye. And whatever happens, happens. How fast, how slow, it is what it is. But am I honoring the gift I have and putting it out there? And whatever happens, let it happen as it may. Tying back to our theme, physical action is proof. When I'm doing the work and putting it out there, that is proof that I am honoring my gift. And if I honor my gift, whatever comes from that, it is what it is. But my job is to honor what's been given to me. If I'm taking care of my family without anybody seeing it, if I'm doing the small things without being asked to do it, if I'm taking care of business, if I'm spending time before there's any negativity around it, or if there's any complaints? Am I doing things before they are forced upon me? That is the physical action. Moving first. Knowing that you've been given certain things and there's a way to handle it. And you know what you need to be doing. You know what you need to be doing. So are you doing it before you're forced to do it? And when you are doing it, are you doing it with the right intent in your mind? Not to get something, but to honor what's been put in front of you. I'm going to leave it right there, man. I don't think I can say it any better than that. So to close us out, man, your thoughts are only suggestions. You get to decide which ones you follow. Every time you close the cabinet, every time you start before you feel ready, every time your body does the thing your old self would have negotiated around, you are writing a new story about who you are. And that story is the proof. You are not controlled by your urges. You are someone who is proving that. Week by week, choice by choice, one no at a time. Now, if this episode hit for you, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss episode 47. And drop that one thing in the comments this week. What did you put on the chopping block? I want to see it. As always, good people, negative news is freely given. Positive news must be searched for. And if you can't find it, then you create it. So please go and create you some positive news this week. Be love, be you, and be limitless today.
Be limitless today.
Coming to get it and pushing the limits. You better pray we ain't come to play.